Hello and welcome to My Consultant, where we keep you stay up to date with the latest news in Canada immigration. We will start this week's episode with giving you the insight about the National Francophone Immigration Week. Then we will share the latest census report about Asian immigrants, followed by Canadian Armed Forces opening its doors to permanent residents. Next, I will disclose the newly announced Immigration Levels Plan, and Tishina will go in the details of IRCC Acknowledgement of Receipt, that is AOR document.
Come one, come all to partake in the 10th annual National Francophone Immigration Week. This week, starting from November 6th to the 12th, Canada will celebrate the contributions of French-speaking newcomers and recognize the important role they play in fostering the vitality of Francophone communities across the country. This year's theme is Our Traditions, Our Future. This particular theme offers the opportunity to reflect in the richness that French-speaking newcomers bring to Canada's cultural landscape. It is a celebration of the many increases Francophone newcomers bring, helping to grow our communities through shared language, culture, and history. It is also a commitment for our future, and a reflection on how Canada will continue to grow and prosper by promoting its two official languages. Each year, 100 activities like cultural evenings, coffee debates, cooking workshops, labor market training, testimonial circles, and school celebrations are held across the country. Each activity is a means of fostering exchanges. Through its immigration programs, the Government of Canada has made great strides in welcoming more French-speaking newcomers who help in building Canada's workforce, economy, and strengthening in our linguistics duality. From September 30th, 2022, Canada has already welcomed more than double the number of French-speaking newcomers outside of Quebec compared to the same period last year in 2021. With all that being said, data from a recent Statistics Canada has revealed that the percentage of Francophones has decreased in every region of the country except for Yukon. This only emphasizes why immigration to Francophone minority communities is so critical and why the government is doubling down its efforts to reach 4.4% of French-speaking admission outside of Quebec by 2023. National Francophone Immigration Week is coordinated at the national, provincial, and territorial levels. It is carried out with the financial support of the IRCC, Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada, and the participation of several partners. For a list of events, please visit immigrationfrancophone.ca/events.
According to a recent data released by Statistics Canada, Asians make up the largest share of recent immigrants by 62%, with India, Philippines, and China being the top three countries of origin for new immigrants. Canada has a long history of immigration. Millions of people across the globe have chosen Canada as their new home. In 2021, more than 8.3 million people landed in Canada as an immigrant or permanent resident. The data shows that 1 in 5 recent immigrants in Canada was born in India. This is the first time when India has surpassed all other countries as the major location of birth of new immigrants to Canada. In contrast, the number of European immigrants continued to decline, falling from 61.6% in 1971 to 10.1% in 2021. The population of Canada continues to age. The major section of its workforce has either retired or will be retiring in the next couple of years. Today, immigration is the main driver of Canada's population growth. If these trends continue, immigrants would represent more than 30% of the entire Canada's population by 2041.
As the military struggles with low recruitment levels, the Canadian Armed Forces, the CAF, recently announced that permanent residents are now eligible to enlist. Previously, permanent residents were only eligible under the Skilled Military Foreign Applicant, the SMFA entry program, which was open for individuals that would reduce training costs or fill a special need, such as a trained doctor or pilot. Although the Armed Forces hasn't officially said whether this recent eligibility change was made to boost recruitment, the move comes just recently after the CAF sounded an alarm in September over the severe shortage of recruits to fill thousands of vacant positions, resulting in the CAF needing about half the number of applicants it needs per month to meet the goal of adding 5,900 members this year. This move to allow permanent residents to enlist is a move the CAF has previously resisted due to reasons like security clearance. But recruiting non-citizens isn't by any means something new. Countries like France use military service as either a pathway to citizenship or an accelerated pathway to citizenship. In March this year, the National Defense Minister said that the CAF needs to grow if it wishes to meet global demands triggered by the Russian ongoing invasion of the Ukraine.
Canada has recently announced its immigration levels plan for the years 2023 to 2025, raising the number of permanent residents that the country will be taking in the coming years. Each year, IRCC issues an immigration levels plan to act as a guideline for the number of immigrants that will be allowed to Canada each year. It also includes the breakdown of immigrants from economic class, family class, and humanitarian class programs over the next 3 years. Last year, Canada welcomed over 405,000 newcomers, the most Canada has ever welcomed in a single year. The government is continuing that ambition by setting targets of 465,000 permanent residents in 2023, 485,000 permanent residents in 2024, and 500,000 permanent residents in 2025. The new immigration levels plan embraces immigration as a strategy to help business find workers and to attract skills required in key sectors such as healthcare, skilled trades, manufacturing, and technology. The plan also brings increased focus on attracting newcomers to different regions of the country, such as small towns and rural communities. Highlights of the levels plan include a long-term focus on economic growth with just over 60% of admissions in the economic class by 2025, using new features in the express entry system to welcome newcomers with the required skills and qualifications in sectors facing acute labor shortages such as healthcare, manufacturing, and building trades. Increase in regional programs to address targeted local labor market needs through the Provincial Nominee Program, the Atlantic Immigration Program, and the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot. Reuniting more families faster, ensuring that at least 4.4% of new permanent residents outside Quebec are Francophone. The Canadian market has experienced one of the fastest recoveries from COVID-19 among advanced economies, but is now facing critical labor market shortage, causing uncertainty for its workers and businesses. Canada is currently in a unique period where there is a labor shortage and there is nearly 1 million job vacancies. These are the two significant factors that are contributing in its growing immigration targets. The country also has one of the world's oldest populations. Approximately 9 million people will reach the age of retirement by 2030. This could also mean a severe labor shortage in the coming decades. Immigration Minister Sean Fraser says that there are 1 million jobs available in Canada's economy, and immigration accounts for all of Canada's labor force growth. Canada cannot maximize its economic potential if it does not embrace immigration. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau also welcomed the immigration levels plan and said immigration creates economic growth, helps businesses find the workers they need, and address workforce needs.
Here at My Consultant, we do our best to bring and explain vital immigration news to our valued viewers. That is why I'll take this moment with you to explain a small yet very important part of the citizenship process. After you have submitted your application for Canadian citizenship and the IRCC has reviewed and checked that your application has all the necessary components, you will receive an AOR, an acknowledgement of receipt. An AOR is an official letter sent to you by the IRCC confirming they have received your application and will start processing it. Besides express entry applicants, who usually receive their AOR within minutes, most citizenship applicants receive their AOR document several weeks or several months after submitting their application. But due to the COVID-19 pandemic, that process of checking applications and sending out AORs is taking officers much longer. As of September 2022, it takes the IRCC around 26 months to process a citizenship application. That means that it can take up to 20 months between receiving your AOR and getting your certificate. The IRCC will either mail or email you your AOR. You will receive your AOR from either two documents, the first being at cic.gc.ca and the second being at international.gc.ca. You will be able to check your application status after you have received your AOR. On your acknowledgement of receipt, you will find the following: the date your application was started, your application number, your UCI, Unique Client Identifier number, AOR date, and your IRCC secure account. Be sure to submit your application early enough to give yourself some leeway time, for reasons such as the age of a dependent, your document validity, and eligible work experience. I'll explain. A dependent child must be single and under the age of 22. Some exceptions do apply. If your dependent turns 22 between the date you sent off your application and the date of the AOR, they will no longer be considered a dependent. The date of expiry of supporting documents, like your language test results, medical exams, or professional certifications, must be after the AOR. If not, you will have to retake and resubmit these tests or certifications. And lastly, for economic immigration programs, in express entry for example, you will need a certain number of years of eligible work experience during the last 5 or sometimes 10 years. Let's say your eligible work experience began 5 years ago, but unfortunately your application was lost for a while and was opened months later. This might mean you no longer have sufficient work experience. This is because the IRCC will start counting from 5 years from the date of your AOR, not the date you sent out your application. Please note that an AOR does not necessarily mean that you will not be asked to provide additional documents. For example, if you are applying through Express Entry, your automatic generated AOR does not guarantee you won't be asked for further supporting documentation. That's all for this week's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to click the bell icon to subscribe to the My Consultant YouTube channel. For more information on the topics covered in this week's episode, please visit myconsultant.ca, where you can contact an authorized immigration and citizenship consultant. I'm Tashina Thompson.
I'm Tina Batra, and we'll see you next week.